This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It is indeed a fantastic Friday, and I get an opportunity and the honor and the privilege to start things off with our excellent friends from the Department of Children and Family Services as we tell you about the upcoming month of activities for our Child Month. Then 1 o'clock. You've seen it in the news, you've heard it here. I even got in trouble for it. CPR. Want to know more? That's at 1 o'clock. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to Miss Susan. She turns up the volume, makes I even look good on the radio according to Miss Susan, so that's not a bad day. Just don't watch me on TV, okay? In the studio, really, really grateful for the continued efforts of our good folks across the civil service, and when we have those that are involved in the services to our society, whether they fall under the auspices of DCFS or they come on in with other agencies. We have some very determined, dedicated civil servants who give tireless of their times. And two other examples in the company of Miss Tiffany Miles, together with her colleague, Miss Melissa Alexander. Ladies, if you don't mind me extending a warm welcome to you. Hopefully, this is a happy Friday and a blessed start to a weekend.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks, too.
You know, when the month of May rolls around, there are a couple of things that really spring to mind. You know, the idea, it's month, spring's in the air, but it's also Child Month, and we get a chance to celebrate it. And some of us, thankfully, are very loving and nurturing to our children, and we celebrate. And despite whatever little challenges and hiccups that we may have, sometimes the frustrations and fears of a father, we're honored that our children are there, so we feel blessed. This year's activities, Miss Tiffany?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for having us on today. In regards to our Child Month, we're so privileged and blessed as a department to be able to host such a month for our youth. It's their, if not the most important set of people in our community. We really need to highlight their skills, their talents, and all that they bring to our islands as well, right? So as a part of for the department, we felt it very necessary that we highlight them and do that for them. So we have a full month scheduled events for the month, and between myself and Melissa, we'll highlight those.
And I think every year there are some of us who either look forward to particular activities, the read initiatives, the other games and the like. And there's some of us who, that's come and gone. I wanted to go. Maybe this year, as we get a preview of it, we can put it on our calendars and come out and participate. And hopeful that as we go through the month, we get a chance to even delve into it further. But from that perspective, Miss Melissa, give us a preview of some of the things that are going to unfold within this month.
Okay. This year's theme for Child Month, it's Be Strong, Be Brave, Be You. And it's encouraging our children, as it says, to be strong, be brave, and to be themselves. We kick off the month of May. Our first event is going to be the Intergenerational Cook-Off. That's going to take place on the 4th of May is going to be happening at the Lighthouse School. However, before that, we're going to be having a trivia night. That's the Bordentown and Savannah trivia night on the 3rd, which is tonight, everyone, from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Trivia night is really a games night, bringing everybody together. Those of us that have played Trivial Pursuit and enjoyed those game nights that we have with each other, this is encouraging families to come out and participate in a games night.
Trivia is fun.
It is fun.
Sure it is, yeah.
It is fun. And I find it to be a bit of a learning experience as well.
Yeah.
You know, so it gives the families and the young people and their parents, community at large who come out to it to have fun and also hopefully learn something from what is happening that night. On the 4th, we have the intergenerational cook-off, like I said, at Lighthouse School. That's going to be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There are going to be 2 of those, but the first one is on the 4th. The second one is going to be on the 19th at Cayman Academy. We'll have 3 teams of students from Lighthouse School who will be taught how to prepare Caymanian dishes by 3 older Caymanians. So we're bridging the gap. Yes, and the hope will be by teaching the young people some of these traditional dishes that it will be something that's going to continue down the line.
It's easy to lose
know,
how to cook certain foods. I
It
mean,
is.
some of us have a challenge even boiling water, but I won't tell tears on my sister. Susan, like, well, you get in trouble today. No, but this is where the families come together now.
Right.
Even though it's Child Month, let them be the focus, but they're going to get there because we're going to bring them.
Exactly.
Stay with them.
Correct.
All right.
Correct.
The month goes quickly.
It really does.
I mean, this is month 5 of this.
Yeah.
Pretty soon it'll be 2020.
Truth.
Yeah.
Oof.
Wow. Can't believe it. All right. The public just show up to the event? I mean, do we need to register, buy tickets?
Some of the events are by invitation only, or for foster kids and kids in our care. But for the most part, a lot of the events are for the general public. We've sent the calendar out to the schools, all the service providers, just to have them share and let the public know when the events are, and that they can attend, and they'll see which ones they can certainly attend. We've had quite a bit of we've had good support with partnerships this month, and that includes down to transportation for the kids and persons who just donate monetary or even their time to come and assist with any of the events that we're putting on. So it's quite an exciting month, and we try to encourage the parents to come out with the kids. Most times you'd see that kids are being sent to events and parents aren't there. We're trying to encourage the parents to come and enjoy with their kids.
Right.
And so far, I think we've gotten good feedback from our clients. Yeah,
because it's not just important for the parents to attend for safety purposes, but also to be a part of what is happening. The theme, be strong, be brave, be you. That encouragement is coming from home. That's where it's going to start. So we need the parents to really come on board with what we're trying to do this month and the message we're trying to convey.
I mean, you look at some of the Marvel movies out now. Sound like almost a theme that be strong, be brave, be you. Come out together with your families.
Yeah.
I think parents sometimes don't appreciate that. They may feel uncomfortable going with the children may feel uncomfortable, but that's only the first time. The second time, the third time, if you make it habitual, if you make it part of who you are.
Yeah.
Thankfully, some families have games night every Friday, Saturday, or some particular nights. Maybe they'll have that they go somewhere for food. We need to do this more. It's becoming difficult. You've made it exceptionally easy to come out, and even if we don't have those board games at home anymore, I haven't took away a lot, and some of us haven't replaced those yet.
That's true.
Right.
So,
but we even do have, and that's further down in the month on the 25th, and we will get there. But just that you mentioned the Marvel movies, the superhero movies, we actually have an event which is called the Real Life Superhero, and we will be showing a movie as well as having some real life superheroes. You know, the police officers, the firemen,
Doctors,
you know,
nurses,
the doctors, nurses,
social workers.
The teachers and social workers in the talk show host. I'm sorry.
Of course, talk shows.
I just kidding.
Yeah, so you know, to be able to share, you know, their experiences and how they've gotten where they are, and not for children to think that, you know, their superhero is Batman, Superman, you know, but real life persons. You know?
Yeah.
Because in today's world where Instagram, social media, you know, those persons that are getting popular online or they're becoming famous online, making a living, these are the people that our young people are looking to. And we want to bring it back to the persons that are working in the community every day, giving back. We want to encourage them to not just look at what's happening online, but look to what's happening in real life as an example of what they can, you know.
Yeah. And that's even your mom,
Aspire
your
to
dad,
be.
your granny,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
that you could look
You
up
know?
to as your superhero.
The people that, not you guys because you were young, but people like me and Miss Susan,
Thank you.
know, our aunts, uncles, or grandparents, they were our heroes,
Yeah.
you know, in addition to our parents. Not because we didn't have access to the international world in itself, but because these people did things that we understood that were not only almost impossible, seemingly like, but they did it with such a way that involved us and we were in awe.
Yep.
And we need to get back to that. And
Certainly,
you can't, you shouldn't take for granted what you're doing or that your child knows. You know, that parent who's an educator having to be at school 12 hours a day, you know, that life that educator touches or those lives.
That's right.
You know, that child understands that can be encouraged. So that's why I really commend you for what you're doing. It's almost a tireless, thankless job at times, but you know, for what it's worth, some of us are appreciative.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful that you're willing to share a preview of the calendar with us. So take us through. I know time goes fast when you're having fun and when I'm in a good company of good people. I'm like, you know, stay on board, but go right ahead.
We have on Sunday the 5th, the Child Month Church service at First Baptist Church. Service starts at 10. It's church, all are welcome. Okay. On the 7th, we have our Snuggle and Read at Sir John A. Cumber.
Yeah.
That's going to be from 6:30 to 9 p.m. And that's encouraging parents, children to come out in their pajamas to have a story read, enjoy some hot chocolate.
And some warm chocolate cookies?
And some cookies.
Just saying.
So it's encouraging what some of us grew up with.
Yeah.
You know, with your parents sitting on the edge of your bed, you cuddle up, you're reading a story before you go to bed. It's encouraging that. And the hope is that if it's not happening, that it will jumpstart that habit in the homes.
Yeah. Very good practice.
Yeah.
Then on the 8th, we have the Poetry Slam Finals. And that's in partnership with the Youth Flex and the New Self-Help Community Foundation. So they're going to be doing that, I think, here at 4 to 5. Yeah. Also to note, we kind of went past the 6th. We do have the celebrations taking place in Kimmebrack as well. So on the 6th in Kimmebrack, they'll have the Celebrity Reading Day, and that's from 9 to 12. On the 10th is another trivia night, and this is East End and North Side joined together, and that will be at the North Side Civic Center from 6 to 9:30. So, like I said, we've partnered with Webster's Tours, who will provide transportation for some of our kids who may not be able to get to some of the events due to transportation constraints. So thankfully for them, they will get to these events with their kind donation of transportation. On the 11th is the Circle of Love breakfast, and that's at the Mayor Miller Hall, and I think that is by invite. And I know Miss Julie will probably have some more promotion on that.
We had a chance with her just the other day to share about it. And I mean, just the take up over the years, she's had to move. Yeah, I say her, but the team had to move from the original facility to be able to accommodate the larger numbers.
Yes.
Excellent.
So we'll also have, and in Kimmebrack, they'll have a fun day on the 11th as well. There's on the 11th also, I think, we're going to have a booth at the Junior Badabinu just to highlight, all the events yet again. I think there'll be a bouncing castle and, snacks and I don't know what else that they may have on that particular event. But it'll be a fun-filled event for the kids either which way. On the 12th is a church service and fun day in Little Cayman. And that's at the Baptist Church from 11 to 3 in Little Cayman. And
then we'll be back again on the 13th.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
To talk with you.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to that, man. And we will, if you allow us, help to on a daily basis, starting today as well, talk about what's going to happen on the calendar. And now if people want a copy of the calendar in addition to have it supply, is it available electronically, online, somewhere on your website?
Yeah, it's on Facebook, on our Facebook page. We've circulated a whole lot to all the schools.
Have it.
Family Resource Center, the counseling centers. But we do have
hard copies
available, yeah.
Hopefully we'll get it and put it on people still have refrigerators where they put things on.
Yes.
Some of us do, right? Okay.
I do.
How about
I have to. I have kids, I have to.
But put it there so that it's accessible and make a note of it, especially the things where you can take your family and the reading nights are fantastic. You'll be amazed at what it can do, even for the older children. Even let them engage in reading to some of the younger ones. Don't just go for the chocolate chip cookies. That's incentive.
And I've attended a few, and I've seen where it's at the primary schools, but the older siblings that go to the high schools accompany, and they come with their blankets and pillows and PJs, and
and it can jumpstart the love of reading for the children as well,
and share with that. But I really appreciate it, and looking forward to not only the continued partnership and having you guys back on as we go through, but being able to together, build a strength in our communities. And the closing thoughts, Miss Tiffany, you may want to leave with us. So, Miss,
we have more.
We have more things.
Yes.
Okay, so I can get a couple more minutes of your time.
You can get a couple more minutes with us.
You see how she changed her
mind? 15 minutes goes by.
I told you. All right. I didn't have to twist the arm, but I'm glad that they accepted and acceded to this request. We're going to tell you more.
Melissa can go through.
She wants to come on.
She wants to.
I love it
because we have some really nice events going on, so we want to just make sure that.
All right. We tell them about after the break?
After the break, we can tell them about it, yes.
All right, join us after the break. We want to tell you more what's going to happen. In fact, we can encourage Melissa to sing. You didn't know she could sing. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
I love you, Mom.
Mother's Day is right around the corner. Treat the moms in your life to something special with elegant floral arrangements and gifts from Celebrations.
Thank you, Mom.
Enter to win a Best Mom Ever brunch pack for Mom by spending $150 or more on any Mother's Day design. Celebrations makes gift-giving easy with beautiful floral arrangements tailored to every taste. Express your sweetest sentiment and make her day special. Offering island-wide delivery and extended Mother's Day hours. Open Sunday, May 12th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Order online at celebrationsgifts.com or visit our new location at 64 Kingbird Drive, Industrial Park.
My mother, I love you.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really? Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen, and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good. Business owners, managers, and marketers interested in learning how digital and social media marketing can help grow your business? Join Yellow Media Group Monday, May 27th at Yellow Digicon and unleash your company's digital potential. Learn from international digital marketing and social media experts, including speakers from Google and Matchcraft, plus a Fortune 500 digital marketing strategist. Complimentary registration for Yellow Media Group customers. Register now at digiconcayman.com or findyellow.com. Presented by Yellow Media Group in partnership with Google.
At Flow, we know that 4 are better than 1. Introducing Flow Quad Play. Packed with the fastest, most reliable broadband, the power and control of Flow Evo TV, Cayman's best mobile experience, and tons of home phone minutes, all in one convenient package from only $199 a month. With 4 plans to choose from, you're sure to find one that fits your needs. It's value, ease, and convenience all on one bill with Cayman's #1 network. Find out why 4 are better than 1 with Flow Quad Play at discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know the procurement process for the cruise berth facility has gone above and beyond to make sure that we get this project right? Government commissioned some of the most respected companies in the world to carry out research and scientific studies, and their expertise and findings are being used to make the best decisions possible. Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's a pleasure, honestly, to be able to not only partner with DCFS or Department of Children and Family Services, but to be able to celebrate Child Month and to be able to share with you the calendar for the month of activities. In the studio, the chairperson, Ms. Tiffany Miles, together with her colleague, Ms. Melissa Alexander from DCFS, joins us. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to laugh along with you. And I hope you don't mind, but you know, if it brings joy to the day, you walk with a little bit of a...
Why not?
Exactly. And,
and it's
Friday. It's Friday.
That's right.
I mean, when I looked in the mirror this morning, I said, ooh, boy, that's a handsome fellow. But it was dark and there was no mirror. I was imagining, using my creativity.
There you go.
You see, you have to believe. No, but seriously, the activities that you put on during the month, just even the reading and the games night alone in and of itself is worth it. And then the families that can make a special effort to attend churches together to be able to understand the importance of not just building hope for the next generation, for the future, but for today, see how we can invest. And small things can be very significant. So, Miss Melissa, as you take us through the calendar, you want to kick us off?
As mentioned before the break, on the 13th, the MASH will be here to talk with you about what we do at the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, which both Tiffany and I are attached to. On the 14th, we have foster care information session. That will be at Georgetown Town Hall from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And that session is geared toward providing persons in the community with information about fostering. And hopefully it will encourage persons to really sign up and commit to the important role of being a foster parent, which is something that we desperately need. So we're hoping that persons will come out and with an open heart, open mind, and be willing to accept the information and possibly sign up to do that. We'll be back on here again on the 15th. Well, not Tiffany and I, but the department.
Just kidding. I've been here one time, 2 minutes. Okay. That's not what she means.
So we'll be back again to discuss some of the other events in more detail on the 15th. On the 16th, we have the teen panel at Georgetown Town Hall from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the topic this year is navigating stress and anxiety during adolescence. The moderator will be Zoe Connolly Basdeo from the Alex Panton Foundation. And we're going to have participants from the government and high schools between the ages of 14 and 17 that will be participating in the discussion. So persons are welcome to come and support the young people as they have a discussion surrounding the navigating stress and anxiety during adolescence. So that's going to be, again, on the 16th, Georgetown Town Hall from 4 to 6. Now, the 17th, which is Friday the 17th, we have a youth conference. This year it's going to be at the Margaritaville Resort. That's going to be from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. The title of the youth conference this year is, and we had to make it youthful, I Am Me, right? Which is incorporating this year's Child Month theme, Be Strong, Be Brave, Be You. Registration begins at 8, and they are planning to cater for 100 students whose names will be provided by the school counselors. This is not an open event for persons to just attend. The names are already provided by the schools. Program will start at 9. Keynote speaker will be Kevron Reed, who's a youth elder at the Savannah Seventh-day Adventist Church. Apart from him being the key speaker, there'll also be 8 other speakers who will be leading out in breakout sessions with the young people that will be in attendance. And the sessions will address inspiring, respecting, and motivating kids, as well as how to network after leaving school, just to name a few topics, right? All the private schools and public schools across the island, including our sister island, Cayman Brac, will be expected to participate. There'll be prizes, surprises, and goodies that will be given away at the conference.
And this is where, when we look at the young people as they interact and start to recognize and appreciate it, the things that they're thinking and feeling, it isn't just them. And it isn't just their peers in their classroom. It's the other guys in the district, in the next island over. And it's global. They're not alone. So that may be able to allow us to build stronger bridges as well.
Yep.
All right. Good and wonderful month of activities.
On the 18th, we have a family fun day. And I don't know if you noticed the theme. It's a lot of family activities. As we said, the theme, Be Strong, Be Brave, Be You. That encouragement, that empowerment is going to come from home first. So we're trying to get the parents to come and participate and make it a family event, not just send your children to the events. Family Fun Day is going to be at the Turtle Farm.
Center.
I'm sorry, excuse me. The Turtle Center.
I'm glad you said Turtle Farm, because I was going to get confused. Turtle Center. Okay.
The Turtle Center.
Because of mariculture, and I probably wouldn't know.
From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then in the evening at 6:30, we'll be having a talent expo, Cayman Kids Got Talent, at the Harkwell Theatre. There'll be 15 acts, including dancing, instrumentals, and vocal performances. Participants will be from various schools and from the various performing arts schools.
Wow.
We're going to have some steel pan, string ensemble, piano, solo vocal, choir, just to name a few. So we have a talented community here.
Yeah. It's if you don't know, you haven't been sort of introduced to it, you would be amazed at the phenomenal talent. Not just within the individual churches or individual groups. We get a chance to see it on a national scale.
Yeah,
it's incredible the talent that's in this community. Arts, athletics, academics, across the board. Just need to celebrate more. That's why I think Child Month to me is so important.
Yeah. So we're going to have that, like you said, to showcase the talents of our young people on that day. Our second intergenerational cook-off will be on the 19th at Cayman Academy, and it's going to be in partnership with the National Youth Culinary Program. On the 22nd, we'll have a Talk Early, Talk Often parent session at the Family Resource Center from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Just to highlight there as well, they do have, I think this session is geared more so for parents, but they do have babysitting service that, you bring your kids, childcare. Yeah, you bring your kids.
It's going to be convenient for parents to come.
So why it's going to be the husbands leave them there? No,
yes.
So that they can still come, and it's not a situation where I wasn't able to attend because I didn't have anyone to care for my child. Bring them. They'll be looked after there, and the parents can get the information needed from the session that evening. On the 24th, we have another trivia game night. This one's going to be in West Bay at Sir John A. Cumber Primary School from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
All right. And on the 25th, we've partnered with Feed Our Future. They're doing a wellness cooking demo, which will be done at the Family Life Center from 10 to 2. Going on from that, there's a community fun day at the Niels Godfrey Park. That's 4 to 7. And as I said earlier about our real-life superhero movie night, which is at the Cayman Bay, It's at the Gardenia lawn. We'll highlight a movie. We'll have snacks, pizza, and we'll have real-life superheroes presenting some talks to the kids. In Kimmenbrack, they're going to have their teen disco at the youth center from 6 to 10. And that's all on the 25th. On the 26th, Savannah, the Seventh-day Adventists, will be having their fun day at Cayman Academy. And that's from 2 to 5. There's a special church service in Kimmenbrack at the Stake Bay Baptist Church from 11 to 12. On the 28th is Snuggle and Read at Prospect Primary School, and that's from 6:30 to 9. And the other Snuggle and Read is on the 30th at Cayman Academy from 6 to 8. And there's a trivia game night at the Ashton Ruddy Civic Center in Kimmenbrack from 6 to 9. The last trivia game night is in Georgetown at the Georgetown Hall at 6 to 9:30. And then on June the 1st, we're going to have the Cupcake Wars. Yeah,
so I'm very excited about the Cupcake Wars. Yeah. So I'm very excited.
Listen, I've been there.
The chocolate chip cookies and now the cupcakes.
To see the National Culinary Youth Program, to see the children participate in the Cupcake Wars, and to be in attendance, to know what they've done in the kitchen, they bring it out, and then the judging.
Amazing. Yeah.
You think watching cooking on TV, you watch these children, young people, and then get to taste their...
I'm very excited about it. I wish they could see your face right now.
They can, man. On YouTube, we see the cameras.
Everyone is tuning in.
Yeah, it's not just MI6 that's... This is all good stuff. No, but the fact that the whole Child Month sort of extends into June, the fact that it covers all of Grand Cayman, but also our sister islands, shows you that we have this wonderful love and support for our young people. And I know the calendar of events, there's a lot of programming and planning, a lot of logistics, so I commend you for it.
Yeah, it's quite a full calendar, and we're quite excited about it. And like I said, equally so with the partnership that we've gotten this year. We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it alone, so really appreciate it.
Each year has gotten better because of increased participation, and that is where we see the strength in our community.
Yes.
Really commend you for it. Now, Miss Alexander.
Yes, sir.
What do you think? We have a break coming up. Then we go to the one for the news. What do you want to do? You want to come back and stay with us a little more and wrap it up?
What exactly are you needing us to wrap up?
No, I just need you to tell me what you want. Because, see, I just love the enthusiasm.
I'm very shy.
I noticed. That's what
very
happened.
shy.
She was so... Right. So we'll take our final break, and then we'll come back and we'll just say...
We'll just wrap it
up.
Okay, no problem. Perfect.
All right, then she take us to the break. All right. Please join us as we get a chance to tell you finally about all the wonderful activities that happen during Child Month. Stay tuned.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
The Your Choice Drunk Driving campaign, in conjunction with Webster's Tours and the NDC, invite partygoers to take the bus after Batabanoo this Saturday night. Get a safe ride home. Don't drink and drive. Find the bus at the Georgetown Town Hall tomorrow at midnight. Free rides home island-wide. This ad's endorsed by Radio Cayman.
Cayman Carnival Batabanoo presents Alta de Blue Harbor Drive Waterfront, Friday, May 3rd, 8 p.m. Featuring from Trinidad and Tobago, the Water King, Iwan George. Coming from Barbados, whining sensation, Marsville. International DJ Storm and DJ Duchess and local DJ Frost. General admission $25, VIP $50 with all you can drink, separate bar and entrance.
Get tickets online at eventpro.ky and at Le Classique on Mary Street.
Place household garbage in large bags prior to its placement in a garbage container to avoid spillage during collection. A suitable garbage container must be made of sturdy materials that will allow it to withstand weathering. A tightly fitted cover is also necessary to keep out water and stray animals. Do your part. Keep your surroundings clean. Store household garbage in a suitable garbage container. For more tips on proper waste packaging, please visit DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. And I'm genuinely honored. I always share that it is a distinct privilege and pleasure to sit here and hopefully help to facilitate, these discussions and remind our community, invite them, get them involved, help them to be informed. And so often things happen, and we say, "Oh, I didn't know that had happened. I wish I knew." Mm-hmm. We are very busy. Many of us are so busy just trying to make a living that we no longer seem to be able to have a life. The amount of effort and sacrifice, the partnerships to go through, just putting together the month of activities for Child Month. If we can attend one or as many of them, it would be good for us. Yeah. So Ms. Tiffany Miles, together with Ms. Melissa Alexander from DCFS, joins us, and I really, really appreciate you taking time and being, at least feeling welcome and invited to sit and share. Wasn't too bad, Miss Melissa?
No, it wasn't too bad. No.
I think Melissa needs to come back again.
I'm not sure,
we
but
will be back on the 13th.
Oh, so we come
Yes,
back?
Because I'm the MASH will be back on the 13th.
So you're coming in?
And I'm attached to the MASH unit.
So I will be talking then.
I will not be doing any talking.
We'll see.
Okay.
No, man, but I'm hopeful that those of us on Grand Cayman and even activists on Little Cayman and on Camelback will come out and be supportive and maybe see how, next year, maybe we can get involved and assist with our time, our talent, or our treasure in some way.
Certainly.
Okay, right. So that is being recorded, so we will hold you to that.
Hey, listen, pretty much this way. Once I don't have to be front and center, my hands are there to help.
All right.
Yeah, man. It's amazing. This community it surprises us in so many positive ways. The people who do, and they don't want anything in return.
That's true.
They really. Anyway, let me be careful because I might talk about someone who gives a check for $100 and wants to get front page, but that's a different story. We won't go there. No. If I may ask, though, respectfully, if there is somebody listening, whether they want to assist in some way or they think they can be of assistance, can they do so, and how can they reach out? So if they're looking to maybe make a donation of cash or in kind, or they say, listen, maybe I can be part of the reading, maybe I can, whatever that is, and maybe there's a company out there that would like to help. Can they do that? I mean, how?
Yeah, most certainly. They can make contact to the department, 9490290. Ask for myself, Tiffany Miles, or the director, Ms. Paulinda Mendoza Williams. And even if they don't get either one of us, they can certainly leave a message, and we will get back to them. And we welcome any form of donation, any form of assistance, just, your time. Yeah. We would be much appreciative.
And we see companies through their, I don't want to call them social clubs, but their dress downs, their activities, just companies, and they say, this would be good. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, but when added to a little bit from here and a little bit from there, it means a big deal. And when you have, say, you move a night, for instance, and you buy in pizza and popcorn, I give you $50, the next person give you $50, and before you're sold, 5 people give you $50, you got a couple of dollars, right? So it helps.
Yeah, it does.
Perfect. All right. Well, I've enjoyed this. I really have.
We have to.
Yeah, well,
I'm very
shy.
Yes, I'm so glad to see that you're not as nervous now as you were when you came in. So thanks for Ms. Tiffany for giving you the trick to put a tack in your foot and just keep pressing each time. How distracting that works. Susan falls off the chair. I'm sorry. All right, as we wrap up our discussion, can we start with you first, Ms. Melissa? As you go through the month and then the particular activities, maybe not only ask for the invitation, but if you want to highlight any particular things that you think maybe you've interest to the families in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, Miss Tiffany as well. For me, it's the trivia night tonight.
Trivia nights, yes.
I believe the snuggle and read is important.
Well, yes.
And then if you have, especially if you have some of the students, the aspiring bakers involved in the cupcake wars, to come, just to be there and to see for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully not talking at the school, but I remember attending one time and we were sitting in the back and we knew what the preparations were, and the judges were there. I thought, wow, the judges are harsh. There's somebody not telling that these are children.
Right.
And they were very constructive, but they were critiquing harshly. Oh, I think your fondant was... And the children knew the language, they understood. You got to taste the fare. That's even much better, right? But it's good because it prepares them that life isn't always fair.
Right.
It isn't a bed of roses.
Correct. And constructive criticism as well.
Right.
And that's what they got there.
Yeah, man. And it was good. And it helps you, once it's done in a safe, loving, nurturing environment, you can get better.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm glad. So, what would be your favorite? If you went? She has so many. She's like, I'm not sure.
I am partial to the youth conference, the talent expo, and the real life superhero. My plan was to get a mask and cape for that event, but unfortunately I was not able to do that, to dress the part. But I'm very excited about those 3 events. Of course, I want to also add about the foster care information session, because that's something that we really do need. So I do want to encourage persons who are listening, those who are not listening, happen to see it advertised somewhere, do come out and get the information. As I said before, open hearts, open minds. This is needed for our young people in the community.
And I got a quick message here, if I may share with you, in relation to the foster care. I won't read it fully, but it says, as a foster parent, it can be part-time, full-time. It is rewarding. It isn't as difficult as you think. And sometimes you just maybe need to provide a home for a night or two or a short time. Maybe it becomes part of your family. Scroll through it a little bit too fast. But okay. Yeah, and it is true. The idea that families need to appreciate that if we do this together, it is our communities that are healthy and stronger and strengthened because of it.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Yes, Tiffany?
Well, just to add, I think, like I said, the calendar is quite full and it's quite balanced as relates to the younger kids as well as the teens, and incorporating families, which is very important for us. But echoing what Melissa said, I think for me also is the youth conference, the talent expo, and the real life superhero. And maybe that's because MASH has put on that event, the real life superhero. So I think that's, and it's a new event for Child Month. So
we're very excited about it.
Yeah, but overall, I think it's going to be an awesome month. And like I said, I can't say it enough. I mentioned a few partners, but we're so appreciative of all the partnership that we've gotten, and it's going to be a great month, and we'll make it happen.
Well, we're excited to continue to partner with you, and I hope for more of us will come on board. And just like long ago, we talked about the community being involved and being sort of that extended family. We have a lot more in our communities now, and a lot more need to be more engaged.
Yes,
and
very true.
This is a good way.
And just to add as well, I mean, I know that we've reached out to several persons for, sponsorship, donations, whatever the need was. But Child Month is every year in May. So if there's any organization, companies, whatever, that is interested in assisting in our next Child Month next year, you certainly don't have to wait until May comes. Just reach out to the department prior to that, and we will certainly welcome whatever assistance they're willing to provide.
And it'll benefit every child. So that is we see it all the time. We see we watch that extra effort by one person, the educator, maybe a member of the PTA, maybe somebody in the community, and it has a knock-on effect. And what's wonderful, you do something today, and literally 10, 15 years later, that child or somebody reminds you of it, and you go, I didn't remember that. And you may have seen like nothing. And when those things happen,
lives.
man, you are in a positive way.
Yeah.
And that, anyway, I had something happen to me this morning that has really, 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 really reminded me of how important it is to do the right thing, because you can.
Yeah.
So thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
May you
Thanks
not grow tired, and may you always be inspired.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Dwayne.
All right. Well, we'll share with you the calendar as we go through the month. Certainly invite you to be a part of it now, as we wish our good guests a blessed, safe, enjoyable weekend. Looking forward to when you return.
Yes.
After our news, we invite you to come back. Need a little CPR, Miss Susan? Yeah, that's what she said. We'll tell you about it. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The governor supports free press. His Excellency Martin Roper thinks Cayman journalists do an extremely valuable job for Cayman society. Mr. Roper is taking the opportunity today, World Press Freedom Day, to, quote, celebrate the fundamental principles of media freedom. Mr. Roper says a free media enables society to be free, fair and open and is important for economic prosperity. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, a powerful cyclone has slammed into India's eastern coastline, bringing torrential rains and winds of up to 125 miles per hour. Cyclone Fani, one of the most severe storms to hit the region in recent years, made landfall today. More than 1 million people have been evacuated from the eastern state of Orissa, also called Odisha. A state official said 2 people have been killed. The Conservatives and Labour have faced a backlash at the ballot box over the Brexit deadlock as smaller parties and independents made local election gains. In England so far, the Tories have lost more than 1,200 seats and 41 councils overall, while the Liberal Democrats have gained more than 650 councillors. Labour has lost about 80 seats so far. And a U.S. soldier in Hawaii was critically injured after he fell 70 feet into one of the most active volcanoes on Earth, parks officials say. Rangers rescued the 32-year-old man, who they say climbed over a metal guardrail overlooking the Kilauea caldera in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Witnesses say the ground crumbled away beneath the victim's feet, causing him to plunge down the 300-feet cliff. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
The perfect night's sleep you've always dreamed of is now a reality. May is the Sleep Better month, and Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery is here to help you achieve just that. The top brands in mattresses are the top brands in pillows, offering from breathable comfort to cooling technology, body pillows, chill pillows, and a lot more pillow for every sleep style. Check out the new arrivals of living room sets, bedroom sets, and beautiful home decor. We have the complete look to finish your home, all available at Tomlinson Furniture and the Mattress Gallery. Showroom on the 2nd floor at the 4-way stop, Hospital and Walkers Road.
Now until supplies last, clearance on select Beauty Rest mattresses at the Mattress Gallery by Tomlinson Furniture.
Moms everywhere, Advance Automotive salutes you. We know you have the hardest job in the world, so we want to introduce you to the 2019 Chevrolet Traverse, the stylish 7 or 8-seater SUV, voted Best Family Car 2018. Partnering with Saxon, take advantage of our new 1-2-3 offer. 1 year free insurance, 2 years free servicing, and 3 years free licensing, freeing up more cash to pamper yourself this Mother's Day. Moms everywhere, you rock. Visit the showroom on Owen Roberts Drive or visit AdvanceChevrolet.com to start enjoying your new Traverse. Who runs the world? Mums.
Don't forget to tune in every Monday through Friday for the 7 a.m. news, brought to you by Cayman National Bank, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much. And if you'll allow me just to share that I think the health and strength of any civilized democracy is when a public can assemble and in a very responsible way engage in good discourse so that people's views can be aired and heard and the greater good, can be sort of the front and center. I know sometimes it's challenging, and I'm very, very appreciative now for the continued efforts because it reminds me that service and sacrifice of our forefathers, for those who may, whether in the wars past and today champion the freedoms for us to be able to go to the polls and, very publicly, not only pray in assemblies, but to vote for the people that we like because we like them, whatever that reason is. And that is something that maybe in Cayman we take for granted because we never had to, fight so hard to exercise such a freedom, and yet there are people today that can't. So as we talk about the idea of the cruise port referendum, Ms. Michelle Lockwood, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us again.
All right. And, Ms. Shirley Rolston.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure to welcome you. It's a pleasure to have, my good cousin here, but it's
I'm old news now. Many times.
You're a newbie.
You're a newbie? No, it's, I say this because something that I've garnered recently, and I'm hopeful that we as a society will take it on board. If it's a political statement, I would like you and all the listeners to chastise me because this is not one that is intended to be, not because I'm fearful of losing the job or being chastised or whatever, but because it shouldn't be. We talk about our children being the future. I had a great company earlier of our friends from the DCFS to come on, and we're just going to go through the calendar. And I thought that it's important for them to take the time and, this day, this would be the event. On this day, this would be the event. And many of us would dismiss what's being said without recognizing there's a lot that goes on in preparing the calendar. If people come out to the reading night, to the trivia night, to come out to the different activities, that it not only shows support, but it brings the families together, hopefully with strength in them. And if we are, for some of us, being in the media and on the radio, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, I get nervous every day I come on here, right?
What thing about me then?
But you have the good company of Miss Michelle Lockwood with you, right?
Yeah.
But if we do that and we're able to build not just a sense of confidence in our youth,
that's it,
but have them feel appreciated, loved, nurtured,
included,
and they get to be a part of this thing. So let's take whether it's the issue of the dump, whether it's a building in some area, whether it's the port project, or whether it's we're going to change the physical landscape of Cayman relative to what we allow for planning. They're going to be the ones who are going to pay for it, who are going to be part of the ones that profit from it, or what have you. Have them get involved, and to see so many young people share, hey, I want to be a part of this, I want to know what's going on. They are for this thing, they're not for this thing. They realize that they need to get registered to vote, and this seemingly, and I had a great discussion with some youngsters earlier, this notion that they did not want to be registered to vote because they didn't want to be called for jury duty.
How many times I've heard that?
Gladly to see that more and more are saying, well, you know what, jury duty is very important, part of civic service, but that is insignificant because if I can't have my say at a general election, because my brother's being, one of the candidates or whatever, they got to do the thing. That is so encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I've heard the jury duty thing quite a bit too. And for me, I feel like, if you're ever in a situation where, rightfully or wrongfully, you're up in court, you want the jury that's deciding your fate there to be a jury of your peers. And the only way it can be made up of a jury of your peers is if your peers are registered to vote. You know what I mean? Yep. And you don't know what circumstances might get you to that position. And like I said, rightfully or wrongfully, you might be there. You might be completely wrongfully accused. And you want somebody who represents you properly to be there as your jury. So to me, jury duty should be seen as a privilege, not something to be afraid of. And I'm not going to lie to you, when I was 18 and I was going up to be registered to vote, that was exactly the same thing I said to them. I was like, I don't want to be called for jury duty. And you know what? I got told, you'll take years before they call you for jury duty. And I got called within a year. But they excused me because I was at university. Yeah. So, there are reasons to be excused for jury duty, and that should not be the reason to not participate in our democracy.
Well, I say this, and again, if it's offensive to some, it's not my intent. When it comes to getting registered to vote, I couldn't wait. I mean, my birthday couldn't come fast enough. I had all my stuff ready because I thought voting was so important. I watched my parents vote, and they took that very seriously. My father would talk about, being part of the wars and being part of the merchant marine supply ships and all those things. And when I got older, I said, I would love to be able to take my children with me as I go into the polling booth when they were of age and show them stuff. And when I heard they couldn't do that was, I think, illegal or wasn't allowed, I'm thinking, that didn't make sense to me. Now, I'm not talking about carrying a child that doesn't want to go, a child that is disruptive, but my children, thankfully they can understand, and they would have listened and they would go in. And we went through every election as they were old enough. Hey, this is our choices. This is why we're thinking. They were able to weigh in on their views, and sometimes we disagreed. Now, I had to make the decision as to who I would vote for. This time around, I had one vote. I felt, I had 4 before. That was a bad lead. I got to play the 6 and got 9, but this time I played a 9 and didn't get 3. All right, join us equally is Mario Rankin. Mario, I must say, man, you look a little more handsome today.
Boy, I don't know. I try to do my best every day, But yeah, good afternoon to your listeners, and I just want to touch on what Michelle just said about the whole jury duty thing, and a lot of people is a little resistant to get registered because they're afraid of being called for jury duty. But I mean, we got to seriously sit down and take into consideration all the things that we get for free. We got schools, we got roads, we got police, we got fire station, we got all these things that comes at a price. And the least you can do as a citizen of this country is going to do some jury duty. That shouldn't be any reason for you to hide behind not wanting to participate. Everybody won't go to heaven, but nobody won't die. Yeah.
Well, if I can share this, and this is not meant to be anything more than a generalized statement. I did have some employees share that their employers over the years, not just yesterday, not just last year, have been a little bit less than helpful when it comes to jury duty. So there's the summons, because there's a summons. You better turn up at this time and this date. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. This is what you should do. If not, there's a $5 fine. There's a fine. And many employees over years have said, their employers would make little comments and would make them feel that, publicly they're saying one thing, but in the office, off the jury didn't know, and that is unfortunate, because then the employee not only has to come back and do the day's work and get the stuff done, but the employers sometimes treat it as if it's this thing that is a day off, a day from work. Right. Jury duty is, it can be challenging. I mean, you're deciding the fate of somebody of this thing, a jury of your peers, right?
Exactly.
So, but it got to be done, right? It's like it's like the garbage. If you don't pick it up, it'll rot and it'll stink.
Yeah, and the same people just can't be doing it over and over and over again for everybody.
Yeah.
This is something that everybody should take part in, because the ones that don't register to vote and don't get called for jury duty, they're the first ones up in arms if a case gets thrown out or
so true,
or decided in a way that they didn't think was the right way, but yet they did not make themselves available to participate in that process.
So as we share that idea of jury duty, hopefully more people will get registered to vote so they can participate in all the other great things as Mr. Rankin shared.
Yeah, there was one point when I went to the elections office since we've begun this petition, and I asked the lady there, have you had a lot more people coming to register to vote? And of course she said, we've seen some serious numbers coming in, but she said that when she was pushing in the 2017 elections, going around trying to get people to register to vote, she said she came up with a lot of problems because a lot of people didn't want to register to vote for whatever reason, jury duty, whatever. But she said, what she told me I thought was really interesting. She said, I kept telling them, do you want me to keep making the decisions for you? Because that's what you're leaving this up to. If you're sitting, like you all just said, if you think, we've got, all these old older people making decisions for the young people, which is what we're doing, because until you're 18, we are making your decisions for you. So the second that you turn 18, that's a privilege. That's a right. You need to go and you need to register to vote. And, Shirley and I were just flipping through a non-registered petition booklet that we had. And there's some people in here, there's actually quite a few that are listed here as Caymanian not registered to vote. So they feel strongly enough to sign this petition, but they can't sign it to be recognized in our referendum, our petition for the referendum. Equally with this petition that we have here with the non-registered voters, I think that we intend to submit this as well too, because we want the government to know, hey, some of these people are not registered to vote, but at any point they can be. And also, there are some that might be PR or resident that might eventually be, in the next, 6-7 years, be registered to vote.
One encouraging thing we do have is that there are a lot of young people, like when we were young and when we were going to turn 18, we couldn't wait to register to vote.
Yeah.
The encouraging thing is that we do have people coming up to us and saying, can I sign? No, I'm going to be 18 in 1 month. I'm going to be 18 in a few days. Can I sign? So there are kids out there that are, young people out there that are interested, and that is very encouraging.
I had a number like that who were, who signed and then who said, through their parents that once they got 18 that they would now go back and sign again. I'm not interested if they're for or against. They just realize the importance of it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask, not to belabor it, but with the greatest of respect, because I think I understand the answer, but I think there's still some confusion. This petition for a referendum, what it is, and secondly, if you sign it, does it mean that you're for or you're against, or what does that mean when you sign it? And it may seem like a dumb question, a simple answer, but could be.
Can I give you a simple answer to that? Personally, for me, I don't think there's enough information that has been provided for me to honestly say, no, it's not a good thing, or yes, it is a good thing. Because one thing I learned at American Airlines that has taught me life lessons, in my first class, all of us in class were given a sheet of paper and a pencil. And the instructor said, you cannot ask any questions. You just have to do what I say. So, said, draw a circle. Everybody drew a circle. Draw a straight line. Everybody drew a straight line. Draw a triangle. Everybody drew a triangle. So, at the end of the lesson, with all of these different shapes we were supposed to draw, everybody's paper looked completely different because we couldn't ask where the circle should be, how big. When it came to the line, how long is the line? Where should it be? Should it be touching the circle? So at the end of the class, all 20 of us had a different interpretation of what that instructor said. When we got another sheet of paper and went through the same thing, and we were allowed to ask a question, where does the circle go? How big? Just about all 20 of us, drawing looked exactly the same.
Yeah. Wow.
And when you can't ask questions and get answers that everybody understands, you're at a great disadvantage. And our people right now are at a great disadvantage on many things that are going on in Cayman. Yeah. But this is a very significant one that we're at a great disadvantage in right now. And people need to ask questions. They need to get answers before they say, yes, I want the port, or no, I don't want that port.
That was an incredible analogy. I think
wow.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I want to thank you for that. I sincerely appreciate that analogy.
Yeah. I mean, I just
doesn't get any simpler than that.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I just want to say, just to be clear with what your question was, that our petition just says that the proposed cruise berthing facility, a matter of national importance, be decided solely by referendum pursuant to the Constitution. And the reason why we've stated it that way is, one, we want to keep it open-ended because we're not saying it's for or against because, like Shirley just said, we haven't been able to ask enough questions, because when we do ask questions, they either get no response or a sort of
different response.
But also, this be solely decided by referendum. The reason why we're saying that is that we have not been able to have our say on this issue. I know that the government has pushed this idea that, they ran on the platform that they were going to build a port. But, the government that is in power right now is a unity government, a coalition government. They did not get enough seats. They did not win this election. This is just a coalition government that has been formed. So there is no mandate on this. And Wendy Ledger from CNS has done an article about it, breaking down how people voted in each district. And there's nothing that can sit there and say that people, we're at 90% of what we are required to do. And that's with the limitations of people being afraid to sign it because, one, they're civil servants, or they're an employee of somebody that is for the port, or for whatever reason. They just don't want to be their business to be targeted in some sort of way. So we're already at 90% of 25% of the electorate. Plus, we have books and books and books of non-registered voters for whatever reason. So to say that this is that this is a mandate, that they have a mandate to go forward, that is why we're pushing for this, and that's why we're saying that this be decided solely by a referendum.
And it's important that we point out why they put the 25% of the electorate and why they have such a high percentage, because that indicates a clear consensus of the people. So even if the government did have a mandate and the people objected to something that they were going to do from a capital standpoint, the Constitution allows for enough of the electorate to voice their opinion by way of petition in order to change the consensus of the mandate in which the government was given. So therefore, they have to honor Section 7 of the Constitution. So regardless if they campaigned on a platform and it was their mandate, this Constitution gives us the ability to change the mandate and the consensus of the people. Okay. So, and with these non-registered books that we have, which is a tremendous amount of signatures, what we have to do now, and I think that we need to start that process, because there's a lot of people in there that are Caymanians who weren't registered then, who are registered now. So some of them in those books, I found 2 already in the books that I have that is on the list as of April 1st. So I got them on the new book. So at the end of the day, we must pay close attention to what the consensus of the people is. Right. And if the government was a government for the people, they would have eliminated this process and granted the referendum from in December, and they wouldn't have had to have taken the hits and the radio shows that we've been going on, because I can tell you, we're not operating on the budget that the government is operating on. Mm-hmm. And when you have ads that start off that says that the environment is a crucial part of the government's development plan for the port, it is probably the most misleading statement I've ever heard. In fact, if I was in charge of all radio or air or print media, if you're not printing facts, you wouldn't be allowed to air it, in my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. However, we have to sit here and fight this battle against the government. And we see the government going off doing constitutional talks to change portions in the current laws that they put in place in order to create hindrance for persons that are concerned and are willing to go out and fight for these things. They've put more exemptions on the FOI law. Now they're having a review committee for the National Conservation Bill, and we know that's to remove the EIA requirements of the conservation bill so that they can expedite this port project along without having to do an EIA.
Okay. Now, I think this has been covered many times, but just so that it's clear again, if a person signs the petition, that's only to trigger a referendum to have a say, yes or no.
Right. So everybody could vote on it.
They still have to come out and vote.
Yeah. Okay. That's the first one. So you still have to come out to vote on that day to say,
absolutely,
whatever the question is, it should be a yes or no answer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Signing the petition. Some believe that by signing, clarify that for
it's not at all. Like, you sign this petition in order to trigger the referendum, which is what you just said.
Right.
So even though you've signed this, you still need to come out and vote. And in fact, even more so, because remember, the way that this question is going to be worded in a way that if you don't participate on the day, it's a no vote. So we need to make sure that everybody who signed this, that is, has questions about the port, needs to come out. Do you want?
No. And here's a key example. Let's say that the petition doesn't trigger the referendum. Mm-hmm. All of those who have signed it is not a no vote against the port. Those signatures are irrelevant. We can't do anything with them if we don't meet the 25% threshold.
Right.
So that mitigates any idea that signing the petition is against the port.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to repeat it just for clarity. signing the petition, all that does is says, as that individual voter, I would like to have to say as a part of a referendum whether I'm
an
for,
opportunity.
Right. And then,
your
there is a perception that if you sign it, that means you're for or you're against. It sounds again like a very obvious question and answer, but just for clarity, does signing the petition indicate whether you're for or against?
No, it doesn't. It's like I said, the wording is proposed cruise berthing facility be decided by referendum.
That's one.
It really means you believe in democracy.
Exactly.
That is what this petition means, is that you believe in democracy, because for decades we've been under what I call an illusion of democracy. We really have not had a democracy here.
All right. Let me ask the question, and then it's the question. Under the section of the Constitution, there are two ways a referendum can be triggered. In the studio, for those who are listening, we have the company of Mario Rankin, Shirley Rolston, together with Michelle Lockwood. I got names correct?
Yes.
Or should I go the other way? Michelle Lockwood, Shirley Rolston, and Mario Rankin? Because I went from left to right and right to left. Okay, down the middle, Michelle.
Not that good looking.
I wasn't blessed with blonde hair and blue eyes.
There you go. So, all right, let me ask the question. When this referendum is triggered and it's a referendum, to your point earlier, Michelle, where you said, to calculate whether it passes or fails, is it on the percentage of the total electorate or on the percentage of the people? Do we know that? I guess I should know this before I ask, but anyway.
Yeah, to be honest with you, judging on how one man, one vote went, if you didn't show up, it was a no vote, right?
Well, because of the conditions are so ridiculous, and I can tell you, having to get 25% of the electorate in order to trigger a referendum is the highest in the world. Nowhere else in the world that has referendums in place requires that amount or that percentage of the electorate in order to trigger a referendum. That's number one. And number two, McKeever is the one who put this ridiculous condition in there because he was trying to defeat one man, one vote. So he put this 50% plus one in order to defeat it.
For the people's initiative referendum?
For the people.
Of the electorate, not those voting, but electorate.
Right.
Okay.
So the individuals who signed the petition, when we triggered that 25%, it's not 50% of the 5,288, it's 50% of the entire electorate, which is 21,150 plus one in order to win, to be successful. So the real work starts when we trigger this referendum.
Yeah. Okay. When we come back from the break, I may consider sharing with you something that an educator shared with me recently in relation to a social studies class, and use the port exercise and the referendum as a way to introduce students to governance and the like. I think I can put that in here without betraying confidences and maybe engender some conversation. Can you actually remind me that I said that? And then secondly, with respect to the wording of the Constitution, how that's decided and so on. Because I've had a couple people just looked at the message again just to make sure that I had a note of it, to ask about that. Can we also ask you about where we are with the referendum, what next steps are, and the like? All right. I'll share you some chocolate with you during the break. But
that's why I came here.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so in the studio, from right to left, Mario Rankin, Shirley Rolston, Michelle Lockwood. From left to right, Michelle Lockwood, Shirley Rolston, and Mario Rankin. Those are our guests.
I still ended up on the right side.
Somehow I'm always in the middle.
Yeah, sometimes I like to be in the... When we come back from the break, join us again. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
I've
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
Headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Cayman Carnival Batabanu Street Parade is this Saturday, May 4th, beginning at 12 noon from Public Beach, West Bay Road into Georgetown. Take in the kaleidoscope of colors and join the bands in downtown Georgetown. Fill up on food from vendors on Cardinal Avenue from 1 p.m. and stay for the last lap. 3 stages, 3 bars, and 12 international and local DJs. Keeping the party jumping from 3 p.m. till midnight. Wind your waist at the soca stage. Back it up at reggae stage. And get ready to rumba at the Latin stage. With the last lap, 3 stages, 3 bars, and 12 DJs from 3 p.m. downtown Georgetown this Saturday, May 4th, following the Batabanu Street Parade. Visit CaymanCarnival.com for details.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know government agreed very early on that the piers would be built on pilings in deeper water to minimize the environmental footprint? Marine life will still be able to move freely underneath them, and coral relocation remains part of the plan.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And in the studio, the excellent company of, well, let's do it in the middle first. Miss Shirley Roston, Miss Michelle Lockwood, and then the fine gentleman, Mario Rankin, as we talk about the cruise port referendum and the exercise to garner the signatures to trigger a national referendum. Got a couple of WhatsApps with questions to read and ask to our panel. But I was asking earlier the idea of the question. So let's go on the premise that there is a referendum. How
there
is
will be.
Okay. Well,
It's
you guys
close.
it's close. Okay.
When we have the
They should just pick the date now.
Okay.
Are we ready?
So, and we'll ask you about that too, the process, the numbers, and the verification, and the like. But so when there is the referendum, my understanding is that the question for the referendum, whatever that is for the government to decide the question. Is that true?
It is true.
Okay, so the government
has responsibility.
And the government, once we submit this for referendum, the government has all the cards to play at that point.
Okay.
They get to choose the question, which will obviously be worded in a way where the no votes will be for them, and they also get to choose the date when it is. I think it has to be within 6 months of us presenting it.
Right, and I just hope the question don't read, if you want to destroy our tourism, vote here. And in light of all of the ridiculous misinformation that the government has gotten behind from the Department of Tourism, I have no confidence that they're going to have a very neutral, non-biased questionnaire on that thing. So we have to be watching that with an eagle's eye and ensure that if they try to word it in that way, we take them to task and even threaten to take them to court. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to be railroaded in this process. No. We're not going to allow the government to serve the interests of those people who paid for the campaign. It's not going to happen.
Okay. We do have a caller online. We'll come back to other questions, but let's take our caller. Our panelists, Michelle Lockwood, Ms. Shirley Rolston, and Mr. Mario Rankin. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Green.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Good afternoon. Just fine, thank you. Good afternoon to Miss Shirley there. I know very well. One of the oldest, in fact, the oldest Caymanian name in Cayman. She's a descendant of that. Mr. Rankin, I know the Rankins are a old name here also. I don't know about Miss Lockwood, but she can tell you family history, generational. They saying that I just have a few questions here. Well, it's obvious from the three of you that you're not for building fort. So you have to be a maroon, as Bugs Bunny says, not a moron, to believe otherwise.
That's your opinion, Mr. Mickey. That's your opinion.
No, because that's what you've been saying. Anybody who's anything, say you don't want it built, and it shouldn't be built here, and so forth. I'm listening to you over the years, so I'm only telling you what anyone listening would perceive, and what you would come to the assumption that they're not for building it there. So I just ask a quick question first. Are you for building it anywhere else?
There are a lot of questions around this, and a lot of considerations that have not been made. The thing is that I disagree with what you said about us. Is that none of us are saying that we're against cruise tourism or building. We're just saying that we think that in this particular circumstances of what we understand to be, we disagree with what the government is proposing. But I have not spent time surveying any other locations to see whether or not there is a better place to do it. I think that that's for the government to do, and I don't think that they have put all consideration into that.
I listened to Captain Paul Hurlston and Captain McCoy when they gave the presentation with the late Mr. Bob Soda on building it up here in a dock. An all-weather port it would have been, because I've seen it drawing on that had the explanation, and Captain Paul is my cousin, so we've had many long talks over the years about this and all that, but I won't go into that and waste your time. I just want to say something also. But what I said is this, when I said, listening to you all, it is obvious for you to sort of deny that now and say, it seems disingenuous, but it doesn't matter. That's my opinion, because when I call into a radio station, I'm giving you my opinion. I'm not doing something I'm asked to do by other people. I know a lot of people ask me to say certain things, and I say, you call in and say, it's a free world here. But there is a realization we'll have to come to. This is not the Cayman of 45 years ago. When the biggest freighter coming in here, I remember it very well, was the Kirk Chief and the Enros, the first Ruro coming in here, and the first container vessel. You could put them on the decks of the biggest freighter coming in here now easily, even broadside. So we have to understand that there will be a need, because Mr. Berkeley Bush, I remember when he went about, and if he had opposition like now, it wouldn't have happened to modernize the port and build it better. He lost his seat. I guess it was because of that. But he did go ahead and give us what we now have, a much more modern thing and better, and it needs to be better. But if we continue to do things there in a marine park, we've made it a marine park. I don't know why, but...
Yeah. If I could ask you...
The point I'm making is this. When you're talking about trying to get a referendum going, obviously it's a very serious thing, because it's a very divisive thing. I'm going to explain to you also, today is a very important day. I don't know if many people realize what today is, but we're talking about democracy and freedom and so forth. Today is the day that a document 184 years ago was read out by a Captain Anthony Pack on the steps of what is now the museum, the courthouse, a document that was written by the then British governor of Jamaica, Lord Sligo was his title, brought here by him himself, the governor, accompanied by Captain Pack. And that document ended the apprenticeship system for slavery here. A lot of our school teachers and all.
Hello, sir? Hello? Is anybody else here in the call?
I don't
Hello, sir? Okay.
I think I just want to jump on some of the things he said, because I think he's trying to pigeonhole us into, saying yes or no, we're not for, we're against the port, blah blah blah. But the thing is, we are, like, I will say this. I am against the port in the proposed, the way that it's currently proposed. I'm not against the port. I'm not against cruise tourism, but I think that there are a lot of considerations that have to be made with this thing. And the reason why I'm hesitant to be pushed into a pigeonhole is because I don't have the facts. That's why we're doing this. We don't have the facts. I have no way of properly having my decision. I know that the way my position is now, with what I do know, I am against it. So if you want to push me into a corner, I'm happy to say I'm against it as proposed. I sort of feel that it's a bit, I don't really appreciate being called disingenuous, because I feel it's the government that's been disingenuous in this. But also, it's amazing the way that our democracy has changed, and he's right. Nobody's saying, and at the same time, nobody has said in any of this that we think status quo is what we need to continue. We need to improve the status quo. Nothing about what is currently happening with the port, with the cruise berthing that we have now, is what we're trying to say. We're trying to we basically want to get to a point where we can enhance what we have in our product and make sure that we do that.
I just want to say something before we go to the other callers, because I know that you pressed for breaks and all this other stuff. Number one, it's okay for Mr. Mickey to have his opinion, but not criticizing people in the process, calling people disingenuous, and that we should just admit that we are against the port and all these other things. And I respect his position, because he's been very consistent. And 150 years ago when emancipation took place, it was because it was a fight, because people weren't happy with the conditions, therefore, before they went into emancipation. So at the end of the day, if he's suggesting that we should just lay down and let the government do as they please, even if they get it wrong, because they are their electorate, it's unfortunate that that mindset has now influenced or continue to try to influence the younger generations in order to think the same way, because the type of thinking that got us in this mess isn't going to be the same type of thinking that can get us out. Yep. Right. So at the end of the day, we need to forge forward regardless of what criticisms come across the board. But obviously we got callers.
Well, let's just conclude. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but your final points?
No, you didn't give me a chance to say what I'm saying. And you're telling me I'm criticizing you on all this.
You called us disingenuous, Mr. Mickey. What is that? Please interpret to me calling somebody disingenuous.
Disingenuous. I've heard you make much more critical comments.
And I back them up with no apology?
About people.
And I make no apology for those statements that I ever made.
Well, I make no apology for it now, neither.
But own your criticism of this panel, instead of trying to hide behind your opinion. If you want to have a candid conversation, Mr. Mickey, listen, at the end of the day, sir, we're all here to have a reasonable conversation. But if you're going to try to criticize us in a nice way, I'm not going to stand up for it. I'm not going to lay down and accept your criticism, and then you try to call it an opinion.
Mr. Mario, it is obvious that there is no way of speaking to you without you getting riled up.
I'm not riled up, Mr. Mickey. That's your interpretation and your opinion again.
Sorry, Mr. Mickey. Go ahead, sir. All right.
But you have done it many times before. I was saying to you, do you know what today is, the importance of it? That's what I asked. May the 3rd, 1835. What happened then?
Yeah, I think as you shared too, sadly within our own education system, many of our educators and parents and students are unaware of the significance.
It was read out here.
Right.
On the steps of what is now the museum.
Fair enough.
But about democracy. And that's what it was.
All right.
We are saying, have you advised people that they will have to be voting in their particular single-member districts in this referendum? That is not a thing where you can go anywhere and vote. You have to be voting in your particular district.
But there would be the vote in the same. The question would be the same across the board, and you vote where you would vote if it was a general election. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Check to see that every one of these signatures, and you'll be checking them. I don't know the timetable you have given the government when you expect to be presenting this document to them signed and so forth by the 5,000,
right.
the 25% signatures. I don't know. There are many questions unanswered here.
But those are questions that we're going to ask them as well, as you referenced earlier, to find out where the numbers are in the verification process. So we did put that out earlier. Thank you, sir. Susan, respectfully, can we see if we can get one more call before we go to the break? Good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hi, afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Solly Rambo.
Good, Rambo. How are you?
Afternoon.
Yeah, man. Especially the ladies, though.
Good afternoon.
I tune in. I know it's a bigger person there. I know a person there.
Mhm.
Listen, he Ireland teach a lot now. Yeah, the different lines. But listen, I say one thing today, right? Boy, I'm not very determined and profound, huh? But I'm driving and doing.
1,000%.
Jesus Christ, God forgive me calling on in vain. But listen to me. But I support the boat now. I support the boat now. I support it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I gotta care. Nobody appreciate me. I support the boat. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not determined. Jesus Christ. And this is the more determined that. God forgive me again. But this one there, Selling.
Yes, sir.
You see where I live, right?
Mhm.
Where I live, right? We got the government, right? Right? Government can do anything. You know? Right? Government, the board of the house. I told Alan, the board of the house, he did it. You know? I tell him to do that for me.
Right.
Even the conversation we had last Friday when I'm in the studio,
Mhm.
I tell you go. But certain, I back that. You tell you?
Yeah, man.
Yeah? So all I say now, how long I've been on this?
And we can ask them that specifically, the timeline and why. So I appreciate that because those are questions and they will give us an answer. Hey, thanks very much. Can we take one more with Susan? No? Boy, you all thought I was in charge? All right, callers online, please stay online and we'll get to you right after.
Cares about your health and your mom this Mother's Day with the largest collection of greeting cards, picture frames, photo albums, gift boxes, gift bags, and inspirational quotes from Hallmark and Shoebox. You'll find the perfect card and that perfect for mom gift, like perfume and bath sets at Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor will be open on Mother's Day from 10 to 6 for any last-minute shopping.
CUC advises customers on North Sound Road in Georgetown that they will experience interruptions to their electrical service on Sunday, May 5th between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. Areas affected include customers on North Sound Road between Cannon Place and Atlantic Supply at the junction of North Sound Road and Red Gate Road, including Caterpillar Lane, Kentsville Drive, and Beacon Furniture on Dorsey Drive. Customers on Red Gate Road and Dorsey Drive will not be affected. Residential customers on Kentsville Drive will only experience a short interruption to their service between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. All commercial customers will be affected for the duration of the outage. Motorists are asked to drive with caution when utilizing this section of North Sound Road, as CUC will have a number of vehicles and personnel in the area and will be deploying rumble strips and signage to manage the traffic flow. CUC apologizes for this interruption, which is necessary to facilitate required overhead infrastructure upgrades to provide our customers with safe, reliable, and efficient power. For more information on the outage and streets affected, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
Why my wife always asking if I'm in a rush when she's the one always making us late?
Might as well say, yeah, I'm in a rush and go buy the new Toyota Rush you've been talking about. Cause they on sale this month. That'll teach her.
The super special spring SUV sale at Vant Motors. Save up to $4,400 with SUVs starting at only $23,500, like the 7-seater Toyota Rush. Save money, get cash back, or use the discount to upgrade features on the SUV of your choice, including the Toyota RAV4, the Fortuner, the Rush, or the Ford EcoSport. It's our super special spring SUV sale. Only at Vant Motors, Walkers Road. At Powerhouse Gym, where you feel like home in a multicultural energy environment for all. They are dedicated to helping you achieve your fitness goals. Whether you have decided to get in shape, train for a specific sport, boost your energy levels, or even look your best for a special day. With a variety of sports options, group fitness classes, CrossFit outdoor gym, they provide personal trainers and equipment. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center, offers a complete health and recreational environment for the only sports and recreational facility of its kind in the Cayman Islands. For more information, call 946-5464. Email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center. Serious results, period.
The country Tom 40 just keeps rolling on.
Hi, this is Bob Kingsley, and this weekend on the Countdown, the 40 hottest hits on the radio right here.
CT40.
This here's Saturday afternoon.
From 12:15 until 3:30.
CT40 milestone.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. In the studios, we have the discussion on the cruise port referendum. Michelle Lockwood, Ms. Shirley Rolston, together with Mr. Mario Rankin, our guests. We do have some callers online. We're glad for you to share your thoughts with us. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Good, and good afternoon to you, panel.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Cheryl, I like your scenario earlier. I was in and out the car. But, your last caller said that, in other words, not enough answers to the question that he's been asking. He must realize that the people have been asking the government too, and questions in regards to this port being built downtown Georgetown, and they can't answer us. So, it is what it is. But I just want to say, Mario, I always hear you talk about, being victimized on this island here. It hit me this week when I was doing some door-to-door. And to see our Caymanians, the call themselves Caymanians, and the paper Caymanians, they are sitting here, well comfortable with whatever's happening in this island. And I just want to tell my Cayman people today, we have an opportunity with this referendum. And if it goes through, that means we can get many more referendums through on this island. So we, the people of this island, and you all mentioned our children. Where are our children coming in on the situation with this port and many more to be able to live here in the Cayman Islands? Why we want to leave our children in such a debt that they may not be able to pay for, and someone got to come along and say, you know what, I own this. Now you can work for me, not you working for me. You understand?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I just want to say to my Caymanian people, you all sit down and look at the foreigners who come in here and gaining left, right, and center, who is not prosperous here in Cayman. They send it over to their country, and we sit down and we bombard them and we low rate them, but yet they are getting something and we are getting nothing. So I want to say to my Caymanians, if you all can't get in the bandwagon with this referendum, that it means so much to you all and your children and grandchildren, you all need to shut your mouth up when you see the foreigners gaining what they are gaining.
All right.
So just leave, get out and do what you got to do for your people, for your children, your grandchildren. The government say you can sign the petition. What y'all fighting against it for? They did say that we do not want a port. We're talking about building the port in Georgetown. So if you're not against the port going to Georgetown, get out. The sickness are going to kill you. Some people are afraid, Mario, to come forward, and they're going to live here. But the thing with our people and the past, present, and future government, as long as we can get our hand out and our children go to northward and they have no education, it seems like everybody's pretty much comfortable with that because their little check is guaranteed every month, and their child is in northward. They can go and visit them because they're getting 3 meals a day. They're getting medical, vision, and dental up there, but they just locked down, but they soon come home. They soon come home and go back and get back in the same environment. Caymanians and non-Caymanians stand up to Cayman for once and for all.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not putting no veil over nobody's eyes. We are learning too with this. If the government could come forward and tell us the full story, we wouldn't have to be doing what we're trying to do.
Well, thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing with that. And then as we join the next caller, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Dwayne, and good afternoon to your guest.
Good afternoon, sir.
Dwayne, this board issue, I think I said before, I support, referendum in the port, and people have to decide where it will build, not, as it is now, the situation is not right. But also, with no monopoly in one person or one entity doing the tender in this country, and that is need to stop. Monopoly for somebody for electricity, monopoly for somebody to do the tender, and paying those people are making millions of dollars in this country, and they are forming groups to defend them. They are putting in the radio ads. They are and the same thing, the government is spending a lot of money in ads to defend their position. I mean, this board issue should go yes to referendum. People decide where it have to be built. Yes, we need board, but it's not supposed be in one opinion that one person, one minister wanted in Georgetown. It's wrong. But this country also need to see other Caymanians get the opportunity to do tendering for the cruise passengers. And this monopoly, we are not a country everything written in names of some families and some people. This country is opportunities for every Caymanian, everyone, every citizen in this country. It's not supposed to be in hand of one family the tendering. And this is the issue of the fight between two families. One wanted the board in Georgetown, and one want no board in Georgetown so they can continue making millions of dollars of tendering. And that's the truth. Who don't like it in this country to hear the truth from my mouth, so he can live with that.
All right. Well, not to interrupt you, sir, but I can tell you unequivocally, like I told you one day in town when you accused us of being paid by the tendering company to do what we're doing, I can tell you unequivocally that that is absolutely false. Everything that we are doing is on a volunteer basis with our own funding. We have had a few anonymous donors pay for a few radio ads for us, not the tendering company. And I disagree with you that that you, from your chat, you seem to think that Caymanians should not be allowed to form a company and watch it grow and grow from year to year. And that is how that tendering company started almost 50 years ago. That is a Caymanian family that started that. They hire, I think, probably like 90% of their staff is Caymanian. So they provide a lot of jobs, not just on the tenders, but in the business itself.
And it's not a monopoly, and there's no law against anybody opening a tendering company.
Exactly. And this family,
unlike the
started
electricity
that,
company,
nobody should be taking their business away from them out of jealousy or whatever.
All right. I want to ask a couple of questions that have been posed from the WhatsApp. We'll come back. I want to tell the caller thanks for sharing with us. But this is where healthy discussion and dialogue comes in. Sometimes it can get a bit heated, but if we can be civil in it. We also, again, as we had asked earlier, to want to talk about where the petition is at, how many numbers, how much more to go, what happens next, and the like. Those are the things that we're looking for when we come back from the break. The first thing we do after the break is read a couple of the questions on WhatsApp, get some perspective from that as well. In the studio, Mario Rankin, Miss Shirley Rolston, Michelle Lockwood. Those are our three guests. Sorry that you have to face me today, but that's just how it goes, right? All right, ready for the news, Miss Susan? And some chocolate again during the break? All right. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman. We've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. From Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
A 54-year-old man of Northside has been arrested on suspicion of burglary in relation to an incident where a house in Frank Sound was broken into. On the morning of May 1st, a woman had been at home with her children when she was alerted to the presence of a man unknown to her attempting to take a handbag. The man is currently in custody as investigations continue. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines in News Elsewhere. Caster Semenya said, quote, "No human can stop me from running," after winning the 800-meter at the Doha Diamond League meet amid speculation over her future. It comes just 2 days after the 28-year-old South African lost a landmark case against athletics governing body. Semenya challenged IAAF rules designed to limit testosterone levels in female runners, but the Court of Arbitration for Sport rejected her appeal. Arsenal say they utterly condemn the behavior of a group of Valencia fans who appeared to make Nazi salutes and monkey gestures at Thursday's Europa League semi-final at Emirates Stadium. A video has emerged of the latest high-profile incident of racism at domestic and international football this season. Anti-discrimination charity Kick It Out said these blatant racist gestures are shocking and inexcusable. And at least 95 journalists were killed last year during the course of their work. That's according to the International Federation of Journalists. The number of deaths is higher than in 2017, but not as high as peaks recorded in previous years when conflicts in Iraq and Syria were raging. The highest number of media deaths recorded was 155 in 2006. That's a wrap of Radio Cayman's news. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Attention accounting service providers. According to the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financing Regulations, all firms providing accounting services, including, but not limited to, bookkeeping, payroll, accounts preparation, or tax advice, are required to register with the Cayman Islands Institute of Professional Accountants by May 30th. Free workshops will be provided on May 3rd, 10th, and 17th. For more information, call 749-3360. Email admin@ciipa.ky or visit ciipa.ky.
Business owners, managers, and marketers interested in learning how digital and social media marketing can help grow your business? Join Yellow Media Group Monday, May 27th at Yellow Digicon and unleash your company's digital potential. Learn from international digital marketing and social media experts, including speakers from Google and Matchcraft, plus a Fortune 500 digital marketing strategist. Complimentary registration for Yellow Media Group customers. Register now at digiconcayman.com or findyellow.com. Presented by Yellow Media Group in partnership with Google.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know protecting Cayman's environment has always been at the forefront of plans for the cruise berthing facility? Government commissioned an environmental impact assessment at the start of the project, which confirmed there will be no damage to 7 Mile Beach.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know that the Department of Environmental Health operates a recycling program in the Cayman Islands? Recyclables such as number 1 and 2 plastics, tin and aluminum cans, cardboard, as well as glass and ceramic items are recycled on Grand Cayman by the DEH. Take these items to the recycling depots located at all Foster supermarkets, Kirk Market, and Hurley's Grand Harbor. Remember, keep the Cayman Islands clean, reduce, reuse, and recycle. For more information about recycling, please visit DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Most teens who drink get alcohol from social sources, such as at parties, from older friends, or from their parents' refrigerators or cabinets. Teen drinking is linked to injury and risky behavior. We can reduce teen drinking by stopping teens' easy access to alcohol. Help us achieve this goal. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
I love you, Mom. Mother's Day is right around the corner. Treat the moms in your life to something special with elegant floral arrangements and gifts from Celebrations.
Thank you, Mom.
Enter to win a Best Mom Ever brunch pack from Mom by spending $150 or more on any Mother's Day design. Celebrations makes gift-giving easy with beautiful floral arrangements tailored to every taste. Express your sweetest sentiments and make her day special. Offering island-wide delivery and extended Mother's Day hours. Open Sunday, May 12th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Order online at celebrationsgifts.com or visit our new location at 64 Kingbird Drive, Industrial Park.
My mother, I love you.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome back to Talk Today as we have the discussion on the cruise port referendum. In the studio, Ms. Shirley Rolston, Ms. Michelle Lockwood, and Mr. Mario Rankin are our guests. A couple of questions are coming through on the WhatsApp as we talk about it. I want to share them with you. We also want to ask about some things. Let's start with the questions first, if I can. I'll read them verbatim. I think I can in this instance. In relation to the whole issue of the referendum, the panel has been asked honestly to say that the referendum on cruise berthing is really of national significance, given that it's taken 9 months to acquire the requisite signatures. So much so that they feel it necessary to submit signatures of people with PR who are basically foreigners in order to strengthen their position. So let's start with that first question.
No. So we're not submitting any signatures that are not on the... Well, what I said is that we have two petitions sort of like simultaneously happening. What we wanted to achieve with the ones with permanent residency and, Caymanians that were, for whatever reason, not registered to vote, whether or not they haven't done it or they're not yet old enough to do it, is we wanted to show the government that this is beyond just the Cayman electorate. The signatures that we have said that we have 90%, and I will say this on Radio Cayman, we have 90% of the 5288 of the 25% of the electorate. So that means everybody who's Caymanian registered to vote. Mm-hmm. We currently have 90% of the 5288 that we need in order to trigger a referendum.
So we need 5,288 registered voters to be able to come to 25%.
Verified.
Okay, and you have 90%.
And we have 90% verified.
Okay, so do the math for me. You're the...
So we have a little...
The lawyer?
A little over 4,700.
All right. So you got less than 500 people needs to go?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I said earlier, which is I am assuming that this person is
right.
Hitting on to what I said earlier, is that we have a simultaneous petition that we thought it was important to present at the same time to say that there are people that are, for whatever reason, that they're a permanent resident or that, like I said, they're Caymanian, they haven't at any point up to this point registered to vote, or they're younger than 18, because we've been saying this, and I know Mario and I have been hitting on this, and I know that like Johan has said this as well too. This is going to affect not just my generation, not just your generation or our grandparents' generation. This is going to affect the younger ones, because this project has a time life of at least 25 years. So we're paying this back like 25 years upon completion, and we haven't even started this. So 3 years of construction and then another 25 years upon that. So this is not just, this is generational that we're talking about. This is significant. So the fact that these kids are 14, 15, 16 and they're just under the age to be registered to vote, I think it's still very important, because this is a decision for them, which is what this petition booklet is about. And the permanent residents, they have been resident here for however long. I'm a product of a Caymanian and an expat. And I don't, to me, this divide that we have, we need to stop, because, we all, if you want to sit down and think about it, we've all been expatriated from somewhere. We had to come from somewhere. Cayman was not, when Christopher Columbus came here, he didn't find anybody here. So, for whatever reason, they're a permanent resident. They might have married a Caymanian. They might, they've lived and worked here. And I don't think that makes any less their voice any more important.
Okay. All right, and then, Ms. Wagner?
Well, I just want to address the timeline issue in terms of
okay.
They highlighted that it's taken 9 months for us to get to this point, and it's not it's not the journey we must look at. It's the finish, and it's what we accomplished during that journey, and why we are doing what we're doing. And for people to be naive to the fact that here's a precedent that is going to even allow them, as someone who's probably not in favor of what we're doing, an opportunity to go out if they're registered to exercise their democratic right. So again, if a politician can use the 4 years that he's elected to campaign, and we have taken 9 months to accomplish something that we feel that is a matter of national importance, and when we listen to people talk about the cost of this port, there are a lot of fundamental issues that surround this port. Not just the cost. What happens to the environmental costs? How do you put a price on that? You're going to saddle future generations not only with the financial cost, but with the environment and the destruction of it. And you can't redo this. And not to mention, we're going to be opening doors for companies like China Harbor and all these other people that we know are not, above board and clean operators. We've seen their track record. So there are many reasons why we are signing this petition. Not only to prevent them from destroying a pristine environment that is left in the harbor. There's a lot of areas that has been damaged. Yes, we're all aware of that. But that doesn't mean that we should continue to damage it because it has some damage to it now. And, and to Mr. Mickey's question, which none of us really got a chance to answer, in terms of where would we put it. My personal opinion on the whole situation, which I don't think any of our personal opinions should reflect on the validity of this petition, because this petition is a neutral petition. It allows everybody who's registered to vote an opportunity to participate in this process, simply because if we want the port, let's vote that we want the port. If we don't want the port, let's vote that we don't want the port. And in any event, whatever the outcome of the referendum vote is, we have to live with, because we voted in the majority. That's the democratic process.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's pose this other question in relation to a comment that was made earlier in terms of the general election. The writer says, during the last general election, the electorate returned 8 PPM, 3 UDP, all of whom previously supported the port. Question: how then is this not a clear acceptance of a government mandate?
I'm sorry, but again, I'm going to state this because the UDP is a separate entity. PPM is a separate entity. They ran on different platforms. I encourage you to go and read the CNS article that Wendy wrote, because she sat down and went through each of the statistics. UDP at no point said that they were going to build a port. I believe their manifesto said something along the lines of that they would look. Regardless of that point, PPM had it as a line item on their manifesto, and at no point did it come up in any of the discussions and any of the debates. This is part of why we're doing what we're doing, is because this was not discussed. There were so many other things that were discussed in the 2017 elections, and this was not one of them. This is
and again, it goes back, Michelle, to the mandate. Even if it was a mandate, and the consensus, which is allowed by a percentage in the Constitution, speaks out, then it mitigates and neutralizes that mandate.
Yep.
But for that individual, and I like to have the record straight, and I like to have correct information. John, Tara, Arden, Ezard, Chris, Alva, Kenneth Bryan, they were all independents. PPM didn't win 8 seats. They didn't win nearly enough to form a government. And under the Constitution, that the majority must form the government. So therefore, that's why we had the unscrupulous marriage of the two worst parties in the history of Cayman.
And it took, how long did it take?
It took 3 weeks or something.
And don't forget at one point,
what horse trading?
Yeah, there was a lot of horse trading that happened in that, and at the end of the day, we could have had McKeeva as premier at this point, and he would have been working with the independents. Because that was at one point on the table.
And we would have definitely had China Harbor in here already.
And we would have had that on the table.
All right. We'll talk more about the timeline and so on. But Ms. Susan, we have a caller joining us, Mario Rankin, Ms. Shirley Rolston, Ms. Michelle Lockwood, our guest. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon,
afternoon, ladies, and good afternoon, Mr. Rankin.
Good afternoon.
Green.
Good afternoon, Mom. How are you?
I'm okay, but I'm not hearing too much from the snake lady.
She was talking a lot earlier, I think.
Okay. She had a snake in her hand on Facebook. I think it was a boa.
Yeah, not the two-legged kind.
Okay. Now that is funny. That is really funny.
That's why I tell people you should be afraid of the two-legged snakes, not the little ones that are harmless.
You know, and I am afraid of the two-legged ones, and some of them are getting worse and worse each day. I am definitely against putting that port in Georgetown, in a harbor of Georgetown, because of destroying the environment. If we destroy our environment, we don't have any more tourism. You can write us off the map. We don't have any more tourism, and I don't know how they can go on, government going on advertising that it's not going to be any destruction to the 7 Mile Beach. That's not man-made. That God put that there.
You notice they didn't mention the destruction in the Georgetown Harbor, though. They only mentioned 7 Mile Beach.
Just the 7 Mile Beach. Just the 7 Mile Beach. Now, how can government go on feeding the people these false things? No scientist can say that.
Exactly.
No scientist. God controls that. God controls everything. He control us. I am definitely against it, and who don't like it, that's their problem. It's not my problem. It's their problem. But I say this. I thank the people of St. Lucia. You see what happened this week? A cruise ship went into St. Lucia that had somebody
measles
on board. Measles?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, one crew member.
And they quarantined. They quarantined the boat. Us? We would have said, oh, well, you see what happened? They mightn't come back here, you see. So,
we would have sent an ambulance out there for them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, but most Caymanians these days, our ancestors is rolling in their grave. There's know how bloody coward we are. Because look, a cruise ship came in here some time ago and destroyed our reefs. Some of our reefs. What were the government asking the people? That we must pay for what they destroyed. And then, shortly after that, or just before that, I'm going to say after that, there was a cruise ship went in to Alaska and dumped the garbage, and you know Alaska done charge them $40 million, and they couldn't deny it because all their plastic bags were in their name, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was one of Carnival ships.
Yes,
$40 million. But us, we must go down and dive and try to fix back God's doings, and then turn around, pay for it. I tell you, the departments that we have in government, they all need to be turned upside down and look into, except Radio Cayman. Those people really work. Those people really work. And I am not, because I'm on the radio with Dwayne, I can say that over and over to anybody. Over and over again.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
thank you very much, and I wish that we would soon get our 500, and I wish the government would listen to the people that are paying their salaries.
Yes, well. Hey, thank you very much, Mom.
Very handsome salaries, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you, and you all have a very good and blessed weekend.
Amen. God bless you.
Thank you, caller, and you too.
Thank you.
Can I just say, because Carnival has been under a lot of pressure lately, because I think Mario probably knows the details of it better, but they've actually been what happened in Miami? They had and then also Bahamas has said stuff about it too. So what's to say that they're not dumping on our territorial waters as well?
Well, we've seen stuff drifting back over the years.
There have been some water samples in the eastern districts, and they've found some feces in different high levels of it there. So we need to be very careful on how we open the island up to all sorts of different issues that we're going to have. I mean, obviously, these cruise ship has somewhere got to put this stuff somewhere, and a lot of times these things happen. It's been, they used to do it freely back in the 70s.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my point with it is that we don't know what they're doing, and if they don't even respect their own territorial waters, like Alaska and Florida, what's to say that they're respecting our territorial waters?
Yeah. One of the questions that we want to ask, and we want to take the last callers as well, is about the question whether or not, with the petition being so in the press release, and whether His Excellency is waiting and the like. But let's take this next caller. Good afternoon, welcome, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon to your guest there.
Good afternoon.
Okay, very important topic again. You guys need to keep it up. Doing a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to ask a question, and I don't know how many people have seen it. What I would like for the government to tell us, I don't know if anyone you've seen the BBC News just after Prince Charles left Cayman. He made a comment on BBC News advising the Cayman Islands government to please do not dredge Georgetown because of the environment. I don't know why a lot of things you're hearing that England is telling them to do this and England is telling them to do that. Why they're not following what Prince Charles is telling them to do, not to dredge Georgetown? Maybe they need to go and check that study, because he is part of the country, and if they're advising us now not to destroy it, I don't know why we can take one part, why England is telling us to do. You hear England is telling us this and England telling us next, but we don't want to take that part. I never heard not one soul from the government got up and said that England had warned us not to do that either.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't surprise me.
Well, has it been in the local news? Just a question.
Well, no, I don't think that.
I mean, just look at this.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in local news either. But
it hasn't.
BBC News. I seen the BBC newspaper. No, it was in the BBC newspaper just after Prince Charles actually. But that was around the same time when they were talking when the Smeller came out with a ruling about the same sex, and they wanted to say there were reports, there were rumors, should say, because there was no concrete evidence to it, that Prince Charles had made Smeller sign the document to legalize same-sex marriage and this thing next thing. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Mom, and we got a chance for 2 final calls.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Sounds good.
Good afternoon again to you, Sterling.
Yes, sir. Welcome back, sir.
There. Yes. I just like to see, we need to understand the role of the monarchy a little bit better, but we don't have time to talk about that now. His Royal Highness Prince Charles's words are his opinion. It's not Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom's opinion, just like Her Majesty's government here, which it is Her Majesty's government here, since we share allegiance to her. Government land is crown land. That is not something reflective of this. So we shouldn't take that as he's an environmentalist. We know all that. And we should really stick with what we're talking about. If you're talking about whether you are for the port or against the piers being built, because we have a port, there. We don't have a harbor. We already have a port, so we're not building a port. We're just building some 2 piers, I think it is the idea behind this whole thing. And it's important that we understand we already have a port. It's a port. We are building, and we don't have a harbor, really. It's a port that we have. What we were building 2 piers, that is the intentions of the government here.
Yes, sir.
To say that if a cruise ship had come here with a case of measles and we wouldn't quarantine it, that's not fair to our government or to the chief medical officer. We do not know if he would not do that, and we can't make those assumptions and say that. It has nothing relevant to the port, to building the piers or not building the pier, or to the referendum, which the lady did say that she's against it. And that's what we're interested in. Those who are for it, those who are against it. That's what basically the referendum, I imagine that's what you wanted to say. So the people who are for a port or the government, they're not calling a referendum. It's the people who are more or less against it. Let us just be straight and plain and come right.
And I'm going to clarify again, because I said I am against the port as currently proposed. There's not enough information that has been given to us for me to make an assumption or a decision on this. And that is what I've said, and that's what I've maintained. I'm not sure where you've come from with this measles thing, because that was mentioned by another caller. We're just saying that there are a lot of facts that go into this, and there are a lot of things that are not being considered.
All right. Hey, thanks, sir. And with great respect, I want to get this last caller. I want you guys to share your thoughts. I feel like I'm trapeze act. Let's go to the phones. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling, and good afternoon to my comrades from CPR.
Where were you?
He said comrades. Good afternoon, Mr. Khrushchev.
I've been listening to a lot of callers, and you got to give Mr. Mickey credit for just having the sort of tenacity to ask crazy questions and to ramble on. So that's what democracy is all about. We'll all agree to disagree on certain things, but thank God the government have people like Mr. Mickey involved in the process and sharing their views, because he provides more information than the actual government. So I still have a lot to say this. We were talking about, and I listened to people talking about the mandate of the government, and the PPM had X amount of numbers and the UDP had Y. One quick question, or one reminder: did the PPM have a mandate to add McKeever-Bush and the UDP 3 to their government? No, they campaigned against each other. Even the night before the election, Alden McLaughlin and his party told the country that the country could not trust McKeever-Bush in a leadership role. He would embarrass the country. He was bad for the country. And we've had to get away from the McKeever-Bush style of government. So I don't think that we could say that anybody had a mandate when you actually campaign against each other. But more importantly, Alden McLaughlin, Moses Colonel, and the rest of the PPM diehards did not go back to their party colleagues or members and ask for their permission to co-opt McKeever-Bush and the UDP 3 into this government. What's worse is McKeever-Bush cut a side deal or a separate deal with the group of independents. That deal fell apart, and he was able to go back and find Mr. Alden McLaughlin in the same place at the altar, like the jilted bride, to say, okay, I'll take your deal now. So when we talk about mandates, let's just remember the facts and not go into the revisionist history of what we think happened. Yep. Okay, there was no mandate. There never was. Yep. Secondly, let's deal with the facts now. The project and the bidders for the project. The government will tell the people that there are three final bidders. There are only 2. The French bid withdrew a long time ago because the French bidders recognize that this is all a sham. Okay? The final 2 bidders are Verdant Isle Group and China Harbour Engineering. My question is, for Alden McLaughlin, Moses Colonel, and the members of the PPM, if China Harbour Engineering's proposal in 2011-2012 was bad because it was reputed to be filled and their reputation as a company was bad, they were corrupt, they were involved in nefarious practices and involved in significant corruption in every place that they've gone, How is that proposal and that company now good enough for the people of the Cayman Islands in 2019? Did they forget that the opposition at the time, now led by the Premier, fought as hard as we are fighting for information on the port in this referendum against China Harbour? So if that isn't the definition of politics, I don't know what is. Secondly, we were told by Max Jones that the project will cost 150 million, 180 million. The project is now costing, right now, before they do EIAs, before they do geological studies, before they really confirm what everything is, the pricing is $291 million, okay? The public meeting at the Family Life Center, that was the biggest farce in the history of public meetings held by the government, because they were disingenuous, where you had bidders up on the stage sitting with the procurement office, a meeting chaired by the chief officer, Strand Borden, with the minister sitting right next to bidders. There is no best practice involved in any of this. This is a grab and a power play by people desperate to move ahead by whatever it costs, by any means necessary, because this is about cold hard cash, money, kickbacks, and securing a deal with China Harbour, who will finance the East-West Arterial Road. The current proposal that the government will accept or are going to announce requires them knocking down the Port Authority buildings to, guess what, build new buildings. The Port Authority buildings are less than 15, 20 years old. Why are we knocking them down to build new buildings? Why are we trying to get the country to pay for a $6 million fence to separate cruise passengers from cargo operations? Ladies and gentlemen, the country, the government deserves to tell the people the truth and to share the information about the design, financing, and all of the relevant information. And the only way we'll get that is when we get to the referendum stage and the government are compelled, because of the will of the people, to tell us the truth. Because right now, they're not.
Caller? All right. Well, looks like that's that, caller. Thank you very much. And with the closing minutes, can we just ask one final question? We know there was a press release from the cruise port referendum that came out announcing the 90% and the call on the government and the Premier. There's been some, Mr. Rankin?
No, I was just indicating that we only had one response, and that was from the governor himself. And he responded the very next day. So it's unfortunate that it takes somebody from across the pond to come here to take up a post and to be the one to be first out of the gates to pay attention to a people, led initiative as large as this. It's not 500 voters that we have. It's 500 voters that we need to get to 5,288. Now, you would have thought that the government would have paid more attention.
And the release that we had yesterday is our letter stated that we're at 90%, and we're strongly encouraging the government to not sign any binding contracts, because what was it, like in 2013, something like that?
Yeah, 2012.
That we ended up having to pay all these penalties for breach of contract. So we're encouraging the government, because we will get our final signatures, not to sign any binding contract until after the referendum is done.
Okay, just absolutely. So has His Excellency the Governor, Honourable Premier, Tourism Minister, anybody responded?
Aside from the Governor, we haven't had a response.
And then again, repeat, what has the Governor said?
He wants to meet with us.
Let's schedule a meeting.
That's it.
Schedule a
That's
meeting.
all.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we read. We just want to make sure that we understand it.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for coming on and keeping my company. Hopefully you didn't get in trouble for being such company. Thanks to Ms. Susan for giving us almost...
Hopefully you didn't get in trouble for being in such company.
Oh, SB, we get in trouble all the time.
Before we run off, I'd just like to remind all of your listeners that we will have a petition table at Hurley's tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Also, I think it's important to say Shirley is going to the BRAC next weekend.
Yes,
for all
also
of our BRAC voters.
Yes, we want to give our family and friends in Cayman BRAC the opportunity to make their voice known. So we will have a petition table coming to Cayman BRAC on May 11th. So we look forward to those of you that can come out to be there to come and sign the petition, or you can make an appointment, call one of us, and we can come to you if you're unable to get out. But tomorrow we will be at Hurley's from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. and we look forward to seeing you guys there as well.
And we encourage the Minister of Tourism to have the red carpet rolled out for Shirley and accept her in the BRAC. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Please enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Have fun. Hopefully we'll get you back. And to those who are actively engaged in our, democracy, thank you for that service and sacrifice. Thank you, Ms. Susan. And on Monday is the first Monday of this month of May. Wow. Well, that means that it's our monthly mental health matters. We want you to be a part of that discussion. Until then, be blessed.